Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Object 261. It's the Tier 10 Soviet SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka under the command of Yarbas of OLIMP. And he's got the improved rammer, improved gun lane drive, and the mobility device. Game on. Well, I say mobility device, but it's actually just an overgrown turbo, isn't it? Okay, this Arty is based on the IS-7. So it's a heavy tank Arty, so if you're thinking about ramming somebody, remember you've got 62 tons of weight, so yeah, you can ram. Okay, it's also got an 18 centimeter howitzer, which is capable of doing 800 alpha, 45 millimeters of pen, 9.5 meters on the burst radius, between 11.6 and 29 seconds of stun, so quite a long stun time, and a fairly fast reload as well. First target. So Camp Panther, direct hit, good shot. 341 hit points from the first one. Now they only give you 20 rounds of ammo, so you need to be careful. You could actually run out of ammo in this Arty. It's been known to happen, even in a 15-minute game, that an Object 261 ends up playing spotter, and it's not very good at spotting because it's only got a 300-meter view range, but trust me, I've had to do the job myself. He's aiming for the engine deck. Rounds out. Well, he hit the front of the vehicle, but he's still got 368 off the Wizzy 111 Model 5A. Now, the standard reload is 30.68 seconds. He's got to reload 24.85, which is quite fast if you think about it. Another direct hit, this time on the Camp Panzer 07 PE. Ah, the E100. The heavy tank that never was. Well, they did actually make one, and didn't even put a turret on it because they couldn't, because they ran out of time. Rounds out. Okay, well, 227 off the T-57 Heavy, and notice how Yarbas quickly relocates to a new position. It doesn't want the enemy Arty to counter battery him. The enemy Arty in this occasion is a Batchat 155-58 and a Conqueror gun carriage, because of course it's a tier 10 game only. He's loaded. Rounds out. And that one, despite the fact that it looked like it actually impacted, wasn't an impact. It landed next to the E100, and he did damage for 295, but he actually stunned the T-57 Heavy at the same time. Okay. Fires straight away, gets a direct hit. He worked out that that's where the guy was, and yes, since they're creatures of habit, heavy tanks tend to move forwards and backwards, based on the same spot. And really, they should be doing what this guy in the Wizzy 111 Model 5A is doing, which is to actually vary the position you're in, depending on how much hit points you've got left. Fires at him, and it was a close shot, but only 34 hit points of damage. Yeah, that Wizzy 111 got it right. Move away from the position, because if you stay where you are, you're likely to get wiped out. Well, we can see up the other end of the map that there's a can opener who's been stunned, so it looks like our teammate in the other Arty, which is a GWE900, and he's got a hit, and so has Yarbas for 255. So if our friendly Arty hits him now, then we might get some stun assist, but I rather doubt that he's going to. He's got a much longer reload, the GWE900. Okay, the enemy E900, the heavy tank, takes another direct hit for 185. T-57 Heavy is looking a very juicy target because he's still got loads of hit points. But of course, I think it's going to be this guy who goes out the game and gives us a kill. Rounds out. Switching over to the other side of the railway track, the can openers decided to come to the east side of the field. We're switching to have a look and see if we can spot that T-57 Heavy again. I kind of get the feeling that he's actually moved over to here where the E900 was, but no, I'm wrong. He stayed where he was. Rounds out. Went long and came down behind him, so didn't get any damage on that one. The game's going quite well, mainly down to the fact that although we haven't got both sides of the battlefield, the enemy has actually been prevented from actually coming south. You can see the Wizzy 111 Model 5A actually did go over to the east side of the battlefield and only lost 94 hit points from that shot. That might discourage him from moving away from the river. Yes, I think he's actually decided he's safer down by the riverside, shooting up at anyone who comes down the hill. Yarbas can take care of that. 126, and the GW fires in immediately afterwards, and we pick 91 hit points of stun assist off that one. We're now down to 7 rounds of ammo left. Still got 8 minutes to go, which means that it's either 1 round every minute from now on, or we're going to run out of shells before the end of the game. If that ever does happen to you, and you happen to be an Arty player, do let your teammates know that you're coming down to the wire. You're going to be running out of shells. Let them know you've got 2 shells left or 1 shell left, so they can be aware that you're going to won't be helping them anymore with artillery strikes, because more than likely you're going to be a spotter. Of course, the top Arty players will probably be pumping out their shells as fast as they can to get shots onto the enemy at the start of the game. For a brief moment, we saw that Wizzy 111 Model 5A. 5 rounds of ammo left. The good news is we do have the communications expert running. That means we've got extra crew skills. We can now see that the enemy Leopard, who's actually got most of his hit points, is now operating on the east side of the map. T-57 Heavy is a one-shot now, so we might as well end his game. Rounds up. Nice shot. He took that one right up his rear as he was retreating. He made the decision to retreat, but it was just too late. And that was the GW E900 getting a direct hit on the Kampfpanzer 7. Well, we can see where the enemy artillery shells are coming from. Unfortunately, well, we're not doing counter battery at the moment for good reason, because it's actually more helpful to our team to hit the enemy tanks. The only reason you go for counter battery is if either A, there's no other choice, because there's nothing available, nothing in sight, or alternatively, they make themselves visible so they are spotted, then you go after them. Yeah, that Kampfpanzer is taking damage. We got damage assist there. We've got 911 damage assist, and he's about to go. Rams out. Oh, he moved forward. Yes, the wreck moved. He moved forward and shifted that wreck. So our shell there went in. Unfortunately, didn't do anything. We've got 2 shells left. We're one tank down on the enemy at the moment, but Yarbas has got 3 of the kills in the game. 3 of them. Would you believe that? Goes for the Kampfpanzer even. Gets 230 off a splash. I'm afraid battle does not seem to be going our way because our guys are actually kind of retreating back now into the bottom area of the map. The only exception being the T-57 Heavy staying up front. Okay, can opener, rounds out, direct hit. There is a Leopard up on the hill who's just lost a lot of hit points, and now he's a one-shot. And we're out of shells, so I forgot to mention that, yes. So now we're a spotter. It's always helpful to announce that in chat as well, so your ammunition's empty, there's nothing more you can do except spot for the team. But we're 2 up on the enemy now. Technically speaking, you could drive over to the other side of the map and move forward and let the tank destroyers on the west side of the map see where the enemy is by moving forwards. At the moment, he actually has decided to go over to the east side of the map and push there. You can see that, yes, it's basically an IS-7 without the turret. An 18-centimeter naval gun was supposedly the choice. But of course, this was the 3rd version with an open turret. They did have 2 other options, both with 152mm guns, one with a closed turret and the other one with open. But of course, it was all dependent on if they made the IS-7. And of course, the IS-7, despite the fact that it was accepted as a really good heavy tank, was not put into production. They had far too many heavy tanks at that point in the game, and therefore they didn't need any more. Now will be the time to actually push and get down to where our teammates are. Because the one thing we can do, apart from spotting, of course, is we can cap. We can force the enemy to come back by capping. So at this point, you can go right up to the railway line. And there's the 2-minute warning. And the enemy are down by 3 now. So they've only got 5 left. Only one of their Artys is still alive, the Conqueror. They lost the Batchat. If the enemy sees Yarbas, they're going to get a bit of a surprise when they see the Arty and think, hang on, what's he doing there? Of course, the RT players won't be surprised because they know full well, if they've played the Object 261, that this thing runs out of shells fairly easily. A good player will run out of ammo very quickly because, of course, he's got plenty to shoot at, and, well, he can just pump those shells out rapidly. And now we're down into the last minute. Still 4 enemies there, only 3 of them. And now 2 of them are tanks, 1 Arty. Now will be the time to create targets for the enemy to fire at, so that you can actually distract them from firing at the guys who are going to be killing them. Because, of course, we can't kill them, but we can just frighten them a little by saying, oh, there's another tank coming in, and it's an Arty. And in fact, all three enemies are now in sight. And they're being pummeled. We've got just over 10 seconds to go to get a victory. Down to the wire. And we ran out of time. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Yarbas of OLIMP in the Object 261. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got nearly 3 times that many. He got 14. He also got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. And on top of that, he got a Brothers in Arms because he managed to get at least 3 kills and was in platoon with somebody else who also managed to get 3 kills. His win rate was 5,057, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. He didn't get the highest damage, but he did get the second highest damage. The Centurion Action 10 got 5,697 hit points of damage. That guy got a Confederate and a patrol duty. The second highest damage was Yarbas with 4,123. And the third highest damage, well, that turned out to be the Conqueror gun carriage on the enemy team. He got 3,655, beating the GWE 900 on our own team, who managed to get 3,626. There wasn't much between those two guys. And our GW also got a Confederate and the Brothers in Arms because he was the platoon mate of Yarbas. So very good game. Now let's look at kills. And well, we can see that the top scorers were in fact that Centurion Action 10, Yarbas, and Bob 08 in the GW, because of course they all got 3 kills piece. 2 kills went to the Death Star on our team, the Death Star on the enemy team, and their batch at 25 ton. And when it came to base XP, because it was a draw, you got an equal amount, equal chance of actually getting, because you don't get the bonus. So it shows how the performance was exactly comparable. 762 for the Centurion Action 10, 614 for the Object 261 of Yarbas, and the next highest being the GWE 900, 546. The best the enemy team could do was 520, which means that guy was actually below the performance of the top 3 guys on this side of the table on the other team. So let's have a look at detail. He fired all 20 rounds, got 12 direct hits, no penetrations, but 23 splash. Damage of 4,123 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 9 of the enemy, killed 3, and got 911 hit points of damage assist, and 1,727 of stun assist of 20 stuns. So combined there, you're looking at 2,600 of assist in the game. Now, he actually earned a profit of 41,108 credits for the game, and he also managed to get 2,967 experience points and 5 bonds, because of course it was a tier 10 game out of it. I think actually the fact is that Yarbas and the GWE 900 were working extremely hard to win that game for the team. Unfortunately, the tanks let them down in the end because, well, there was not much that Yarbas could do extra other than, of course, make himself an easy target for them so they wouldn't shoot at his tanks and instead would try and shoot at him. But if he had done that, he would have lost credits because, of course, he would have taken damage unnecessarily. But it's something that I would certainly consider doing, because if you do get to the end game and you're in the last minute and you're about to become in sight of the enemy, distracting them by letting them put holes in you might actually just help your team to get the kill on them instead. So that's one thing to consider in future games. Hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.